One last time.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya. This is a sentence that Narada Muni gave to Dhruva Maharaj when he became self-realized by singing this for 6 months. So let's take another shot at it and see what we can become also self-realized. Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dirayet Nastapraya Shavadrisham Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashtuki Bhakti Ravati Naishtiki. By reading, by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, all which is troublesome to the heart goes away. Just like when you are in Piazza San Marco in Venice, and there's a lot of pigeons, and you just clap, they will fly away. They come back though, but hopefully all that is troublesome to the heart will go away just by hearing the Bhagavatam. So, Madhuri Prabhu chose a verse for me that is related to chanting the holy names, because we are having a 24-hour Kirtan festival beginning tonight as the Adivas in the palace, I believe. And so the verse is from the 6th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's see if I have it. No, this is not it. I have it on my phone. Okay. It is 6:3:31. It should be here. Should be here. I should have known about the Swiss precision here. Yes. So please repeat after me. Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnur. Sorry about the low voice. This is my morning voice. The afternoon should get better. Jagan Mangalam Mamhasam. Mahatamapi Kauravya. Vidyaikantika Nishkritam. Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnur. Jagan Mangalam Mamhasam. Mahatamapi Kauravya. Vidyaikantika Nishkritam. Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnur. Jagan Mangalam Mamhasam. Mahatamapi Kauravya. Vidyaikantika Nishkritam.
Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu.
Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu.
Jagan Mangalam Asam.
Jagan Mangalam Asam.
Mahatamapi Kauravya.
Sankeetanam Vishnu
Jaganmangalam Amhasam
Jaganmangalam Amhasam
Mahatamapi Kauravya
Matamapi Kauravya
Vidyakantika Nishkitam
Vidyakantika Nishkitam.
Ready? Or
Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu
Tasmat Sankirtanam Vishnu
Tadat Mangalam Amhasam
Jaganmangalam Amhasam
Mahatamapi Kauravya
Matamapi Kauravya
Vidya Akunta Nishritam
Vidyakantika Nishkitam.
okay. I'll just read it. Tasmat, therefore, Sankirtanam, the congregational chanting of the holy name, Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu, Jagat Mangalam, the most auspicious performance within this material world, Amhasam, for sinful activities, Mahatamapi, even though very great, Kauravya, or descendant of the Kuru family, Viti, understand, Aikantika, the ultimate, Nishkrita, atonement. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtan movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously. Purport. We should note that although Ajamil chanted the name of Narayan imperfectly, he was delivered from all sinful reactions. The chanting of the holy name is so auspicious that it can free everyone from the reactions of sinful activity. One should not conclude that one may continue to sin with the intention of chanting Hare Krishna to neutralize the reactions. Rather, one should be very careful to be free from all sins and never think of counteracting sinful activities by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, for this is another offense. If by chance a devotee accidentally performs some sinful activity, the Lord will excuse him, but one should not intentionally perform sinful acts. Verse again, Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtan movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously. Kam karoti vachanam nagati girim yakti patamaham vande shivadundin taranam paramanandamaham Shri Chaitanya Mishra. Vachakalpatarvitsya kripa sindhuvya vachapatitanam pavanavyo vishnavyo namo namaha. Thank you for inviting me. This is Yamaraj talking to his messengers. His messengers, the Yamadutas, are very fearsome people and very powerful, and they were never stopped before. They never encountered such a thing. This is unprecedented. But here it is Ajamil who chanted the name of Narayan at the time of death. Who can say, oh, that was lucky, because what is the probability of us chanting Narayan at the time of death? I will say all sorts of things, and none of them God-related, probably. Because the time of death is a very fearsome moment when one is actually, if one is actually older, one will realize a little bit how death may be. Because at the time when you get old, things don't really work like they used to. Your memory is gone. I mean, you try to remember simple things, names and places, and where was I, and what did I eat, and all these things, and they become difficult. So imagine at the time, there's no shock associated, it's just old age. So imagine at the time of death, it's such a shock, but you can't really breathe, because the airs, there are different airs in the body, and they're all messed up, fighting each other. So it's very difficult to breathe. The temperature goes up to 107 degrees. If you have a high fever, 102, 103 is considered a high fever. Imagine 107. If you go to a jacuzzi, the jacuzzi is about 104, 105 degrees. So imagine that you become a jacuzzi. Inside, things are boiling. 107 is actually hot. You may say, well, it's not that hot. I mean, you can't bake bread at 107. You can't bake bread at 250. You have to go 350 or higher. But that's very hot. This is 107 is very hot. Everything goes bad. And this mucus that just blocks the passages. So it's very difficult to breathe. So at that time, one has to completely separate oneself from the body and think of Krishna, think of Narayana. That's very difficult indeed. But somehow or other, this gentleman who did not become a gentleman for a while, Ajamil, he was a Brahmin first, and then he got a little confused, one can say, and took the wrong path and committed sinful activities. But he was actually innocent. He wasn't trying to counteract his sinful activities by chanting the holy name. And this is what happened at the time of death. He didn't think, oh, okay, time to save my neck. Narayana. No, it didn't happen like that. He actually had enough piety to name his youngest son. I think he was about 80 when he had a child, which is not recommended. And he named him Narayan because he had a little piety in his heart. A name of God. In India, it's common that people name their children after names of God. So he chanted, asking for his child. He wasn't thinking of God, he was thinking of his kid. But somehow or other, that counted. That's how powerful the holy name is, actually. Chewed away. The Yamanutas themselves, they were completely surprised. Come on, we have taken hundreds of thousands of people before for less infractions, and nobody has ever stopped us. So here, Sukadeva Goswami is asking King Parikshit that please take the holy name seriously, because if you do, others will. And this is from a verse in the Gita that we hear that Yadhyala Charity teacher says that someone with clouds, let's say, will actually guide the others. And this was actually Prabhupada's A plan. We are Prabhupada's plan B, honestly. Prabhupada came to preach to the leaders of society and ended up with us. So not a very good trait, but somehow or other that didn't work. They didn't take it seriously. And this is why Sukadeva Goswami tells the king, if you take it seriously, people will take it seriously. And if you don't, you can speak until your face turns blue and you won't have it. So the holy name has power in itself. It's not like we have to present a product that actually, if you do this and you do that, then something else will come out. No, the holy name is Krishna. 100%. All the powers, Lord Chaitanya and Sri Shastra say all the powers of Krishna are invested in a holy name. That means Krishna and his name are non-different. That's why we are still chanting Hare Krishna, because we are actually dealing with Krishna. We are not dealing with a process that will bring some other result. This is Krishna himself, and this is our time to be with Krishna. When we chant, especially when we chant japa. Of course, in kirtan or bhajan, like a melody with instruments and everybody chanting is very nice, very attractive, and then kirtan is very joyous and festive and everybody dances, so most people, at least those below 15, should dance. And then there is japa, and japa doesn't seem to fit into any of these categories because japa is a struggle for most. We chant, and sadly we chant perfunctorily because we promised we're going to chant, because we took a vow, because we won't look very good if we don't chant. But actually, this chanting is actually peeling the layers of ignorance from a accumulated sinful activities and nonsense that we have been doing for who knows how long. Who knows how long. We have been here before, like this song by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. We have been here before, many times. Many times. We have been in many different bodies. We don't remember any of this. And this is Krishna's mercy, honestly. Because right now, some people are very curious and they want to know, oh, I would like to know what was I in my previous life, or what was I 200 years ago. But this is actually more of a burden than a pleasure, because it may satisfy your curiosity, but that comes with a lot of trouble. Right now, at the time of death, we're supposed to leave this lifetime and all its troubles, all the memories, all the links, all the traumas behind. So imagine you remember all your previous lives. At the time of death, there will be chaos, because you will be attached to so many things, so many families, so many traumas, so many things that happen to you in many different ways. So Krishna is being very kind by eliminating the memory of that. That's why Mata Gyanam Smriti Apohanam Cha. Apohanam, very important, forgetfulness. So Krishna, why does Krishna give knowledge and remembrance? And what is forgetfulness about? Forgetfulness is very important. We need to forget stuff that is not necessary to carry. Just like when you travel overseas, and you stop your suitcase, and you put all the things that you think they should go, and you forget your passport, or you forget your glasses, you forget essential stuff. So leave the other stuff behind. So Krishna's giving you a chance here. Here is a suitcase, it's empty, do not put anything in it. So just leave it alone. Because the spiritual world has a customs service that doesn't allow anything in, except devotion. You can only carry yourself as is. You cannot sneak stuff. You may say, well, I went to customs when I was going to, I go to Italy, and I had a bottle of shampoo that was over 1,000 cc's. So I sneaked in a big bottle of shampoo, and they didn't catch me. Well, in the spiritual world, it doesn't work like that. They have much more powerful forms of detecting what you're carrying with you. That's why it is said that Krishna is, is interested in what you're offering with your hand, but he's more interested in the other hand, the one that you're holding behind your back. I want to keep this for myself. Just a little lust, just a little bit. Just a little greed, just a little bit, just to satisfy myself. And more difficult to give out this lust and greed is to give up anger. Because even sages that have control over their senses, they cannot resist the urge to be angry. So I selected a couple of verses from some of our acharyas describing the whole name. So this festival, I want to say, this opportunity, chanting Hare Krishna in the company of Vaishnavas, is such a rare thing. It's such an important thing. Not just because it's our time to chant, or because I like that singer, or because that singer is charismatic, or because I know that melody, or because I'm a friend. No, the holy name is being chanted by Vaishnavas. As long as it is not a performance, and this is difficult. I said from experience, I've been a kirtaniya for many, many decades, and yes, sometimes it is a performance. You just want to please, you want to be seen as, oh, I'm wonderful, I can sing wonderfully, I can play some wonderful jazz riffs on the harmonium, and I can produce harmonies, and people are going to love me, and everybody's watching me, and I will become famous. All these things that creep up. But actually, we're chanting to please Krishna. Please Krishna. that's the direct way to please ourselves. Actually, it seems like the indirect way, but it is the direct way. We try to please ourselves, that's the indirect way, and it goes nowhere. If we please Krishna, we'll please ourselves. So, just please come if you're here. Try to participate, try to encourage the singers, even if it is, someone that we don't know or can't sing very well. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would many times, not always, choose people who could not really keep a beat or sing very well. So you could concentrate on the holy name. Because it's difficult, when the melody is very enchanting, you're taken away. And this is how the deer is caught by the melody. Someone plays the flute, the deer comes, gets shot. So let's not be shocked while we try to chant Hare Krishna. Let's be attracted by the holy name. And not everybody's on the same platform, so some people may have more potency for chanting, but let's give everybody a chance. The holy name is there, it's present. It's uncontaminated. It's our mind which is contaminated, and it's thinking of objections and criticism. So let's read these very interesting verses. First one from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Srila Sanatana Swami. Jayati, Jayati, Namananda Rupam Radha, Vyamita Nija Dharma Dhyana Pujadi Yatnam, Katamapi Sakrit, Patam Muktidam Praninam Yat, Paramam Amritam Ekam Jivanam Krishnam Me. All glories to the all blissful holy name of Sri Krishna, which causes the devotee to give up all conventional religious duties, meditation, and worship, when somehow or other, uttered even once by a living entity, the holy name awards him liberation. The holy name of Krishna is the highest nectar. It is my very life and my only treasure. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami writes, Yam cha kirtana kya bhatir bhagavato dravya jati guna kriya vir dina janaika isha ya para karuna mayiti shruti puranadi vishnuti ataiva karo svabhavatam evati dinashu lokeshu abir bhuyatan nayesanaiva tata yugagata maha sadanam sarvam eva palam dadana sa krita Tayati yata eva tayaiva kalo bhagavato vishashatas jasantoshu bhavati. Chanting the holy name is the chief means of attaining the love of Godhead. This chanting or devotional service does not depend on any paraphernalia, nor on one's having taken birth in a good family. Like humility and meekness, one attracts the attention of Krishna. That is the verdict of all the Vedas. Therefore, if one becomes very humble and meek, he can easily attain the lotus feet of Krishna in this age of Kali. That is the fulfillment of all great sacrifices, penances, and austerities, because when one achieves ecstatic love of Godhead, he attains the complete perfection of life. Therefore, whatever one does in executing devotional service must be accompanied by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There are more verses to be quoted. Actually, there's one from the Padyavali that by Rupa Goswami, quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The holy name, this is Lord Chaitanya quoted this verse by Rupa Goswami. The holy name of Lord Krishna is an attractive feature for many saintly, liberated people. It is an annihilator of all sinful reactions, and it is so powerful that save for the dumb who cannot chant it, it is readily available to everyone, including the lowest type of man, Chandala. The holy name of Krishna is the controller of the opulence of liberation, and it is identical with Krishna. Simply by touching the holy name with one's tongue, immediately effects are produced. Chanting the holy name does not depend on initiation, pious activities, or regulatory principles generally observed before initiation. The holy name does not wait for all these activities. It is self-sufficient. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, the absolute truth is Sri Krishna, and loving devotion to Sri Krishna exhibited in pure love is achieved through congregational chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all bliss. So what have we done? What have we done that we don't experience bliss when we're chanting? Not sure. But this is a gradual process, so do not desperate, do not lose hope. This will happen gradually. Progress is there. We are actually chanting, and the more you chant, the more layers come off. I must have told this story before, but it's good to hear it again. I was running the temple preaching center in Tallahassee, Florida, many years ago, must have been 1989. And I was trading, I was giving prasadam to a neighbor, and he was a massage therapist, so I got a massage out of dinner. So that was a good deal. And he was blind. So, I mean, we talked, we were friendly to each other, but eventually he became inquisitive and asked, what is that you do? What is the deal? I said, well, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to start. But I decided, okay, I'm just going to go full in. Why not? I said, well, the material world is a place that is illusion. And this illusion, which motivates and moves all living entities, is enjoyed through the senses of the living entities. And one of the main senses, probably the main sense to enjoy, is the eyes. And you don't have it. You cannot enjoy this world. You have taken a large percentage of your enjoyment away by being blind. So the only hope for you is to develop your spiritual eyes. And this is attained by chanting the holy name of God, which is not different from God himself. Just like that. Quite a bunch. So he said, so how do you do that? I said, okay, when the massage is over, I go to the temple, I get to set up beads for you, and you can try it yourself. How much am I supposed to chant? I said, well, anything from 5 minutes to, 24 hours. Okay. So, massage was over, I went home, I got a set of beads, I gave him the beads, and it was 11 in the morning when I left. So the day went on, and I get a call at 7 p.m. Yeah, Sarvama? Yes. This is Steve. Hey, Steve, massage therapist. How are you doing? Did you chant? He said, yeah, I started chanting when you left, and I just stopped to call you. 8 hours later. And, I never felt so miserable in my life. Please explain. Well, I'm 35 years old. I don't have a goal in life. I don't know who I am, etc. She just wanted to listen to me. I said, fantastic. You're really working, man. The holy name is working. But I didn't promise him bliss, and he got misery. Why did he get misery? I said, well, this is the first thing. When you make ghee out of butter, the fat and all this impurities, they come out. So when you chant Hare Krishna, the same thing will happen. It's like going to an attic in a house where you've been basically accumulating stuff that you don't use, don't need, but are afraid to give away. So what you just did is you went to the attic, and if you don't turn the light on and you don't have a broom in your hand, it looks fine. But if you turn the light on and start sweeping, no, you will see it's really, this is a mess. Cobwebs and dust everywhere, and spiders and furniture which is ugly and broken, and books that you don't read, and stuff that you don't need, and toys from when you were a child, etc., etc. All this useless garbage that one accumulates in the attic. So this is what happened. You basically turn the light on, and you started sweeping, and you didn't like what you saw, but you're basically getting rid of it. Now the process has begun. So please don't give up. This is just the beginning. So he actually, fortunately, was smart enough to follow that instruction, and he kept chanting. I lost touch with him, I moved. The Buddhists, they're, by the time they've been in the movement 10 years, they probably have been residents of 21 temples at least. So, but I know that for a year or two he was chanting 25 rounds a day. So, good for him, good for him. So this is what happened to us. We turn the light on, sometimes on the attic. Most of the time we just chant without attention. So, without attention you can't really see anything. So, that's okay. I just chant. I finish. I chant Hare Krishna. 16. Jai. 16 is the only thing that gives us bliss at this point. Because it's not the chanting itself. But the chanting is Krishna. Krishna is full of bliss. We are full of bliss, but we are covered by our desire to be Krishna. So the holy name eliminates all this stuff. It takes a while, it takes time. So be patient. Rupa Goswami said, be patient, be enthusiastic, be determined. These are things that you have to do. And when you do anything, any activity, even if it is a material activity, you have to be patient, you have to be enthusiastic, you have to be determined. So this is good advice, materially or spiritually. Right? When you chant the holy name, you have to be patient. It will come. And just tolerate whatever else happens in your life. And if you're not a sociopath or a psychopath, you can see that other people are suffering more than you do. So if you're suffering, don't think, why me? Look at the rest. Everybody's suffering. Everybody's suffering, one way or another. Because suffering is part of being in the material world. There is no actual pleasure in the material world, except chanting the holy name, purely. So we have to purify ourselves and get to the platform where we can see the world through Krishna's eyes. Right now we're seeing the world through Maya's eyes. We have to see the world through Krishna's eyes. Okay. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments, please? Wait for the mic. Sachin, it's coming to you. Sachin.
Thank you for your class, and I always like the story of Ajamil. And when I was first getting interested in Krishna consciousness back in, I guess it was 1974, I got pregnant. At that time, I didn't really know much about the philosophy, but I had been studying different yoga paths. And so I got hold of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. I think that was 75 when that came out. And I was just so enamored with the pictures of Lord Chaitanya. I didn't really understand it, but I decided, I was pregnant, and I decided I'm going to name my son Chaitanya. And so even though I didn't really understand the philosophy, like how he chanted Narayan and helped to save him, I guess my inside my soul, I felt that. And then when I got pregnant the second time, I said, oh, I got to might as well get Nityananda. So that was 3 years later. And I didn't care whether it was a boy or girl. Of course, I knew a lot more about the philosophy in the second pregnancy. Anyway, I always enjoyed that story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a devotee in Ukraine that also had two children, so he named them Chaitanya and Nityananda. So I asked him if he's going for the Panchatattva. He said, no. Anything else? It's the other side.
Sometimes we hear, like Srila Prabhupada says, Golokya Pramanana Harinana Sankirtan. The holy name is coming directly from the spiritual sky. I was wondering, are we actually chanting, or we're just opening up our heart and the holy name is flooding through us from the spiritual sky?
It requires volition. Like Krishna doesn't want robots. We're individual, slightly independent entities that have this power that we can choose, Krishna or not Krishna. So it's not like everything is done. Like yesterday I was explaining how Prabhupada was